Alright, part 2. Warrior Square surgery. Alright, over this period, from May to June, I finally got to see a Dr. Shepherd in Warrior Square surgery in Hastings. I've been suffering from total fatigue, lack of concentration, abdominal pains, generally feeling like my system is totally poisoned. Having to get out of bed every 2 or 3 hours because I've got abdominal pains. I explained to this Dr. Shepherd and actually showed him a letter that I'd sent to the Conquest Hospital, previously, and had it acknowledged, explaining my symptoms. Dr. Shepherd, he looked behind my ear, looked up my nose again, and looked inside my ear. Right now, the bite actually, when I felt the insect or chemical or whatever, from the insect going inside my head, it didn't actually physically, it went in between. And I've analysed this basically, I've looked at this quite specifically, in between my brain and the liquid between the brain and the skull. And that's, I've had pressure on my ear, in my right ear ever since, and obviously very concerned, and sometimes it feels like it's moving over to the left-hand side, but 24/7 intense pressure in the head. So Dr. Shepherd basically, I had a blood test by a nurse. Let me just refer to my notes here. CSN Vidler. I think it might have been Paula Vidler that did the blood test. I'm not really quite sure. The various nurses took my blood. It may have been Wingfield in Hastings, Warrior Square, but whatever nurse it was, I did explain that I'd been bitten by an insect. They took this blood test the first time, and because of my little bit concern in respect of the way the National Health is run, I got in touch with the documents department and got them to send me a copy of the blood test. And I got a copy of the blood test. Now, bearing in mind, I'm feeling very ill. When you haven't been ill for, practically all your life, and all of a sudden you feel like you're dying, something else. So I checked the blood test, and I saw FBC, basically, on the blood test. So as soon as I'm trying to get to the bottom of what's going on with my body, I researched FBC and I found out it was just a full blood count. So I went back to Warrior Square, saw Dr. Shepherd again, and he took another blood test, where it was either Wingfield or Vidler, and again I got a copy of the blood test, and it was again just an FBC, even though the nurses and the doctor had been told that I'd been bitten by an insect. It was a full blood count. So I went back there. Dr. Shepherd basically, I had another blood test by a nurse. What was her name now? Fiona McNichol, actually, because she kept, daughter kept tarantulas, and she was quite concerned in respects of finding out in respects of what type of insect bit me. She took actually quite a lot of notice, in this. But in the meantime, Dr. Shepherd basically consulted with other doctors, and now bearing in mind I did tell him I've been bitten by an insect, and excuse me a moment, to try and find my notes here. but ended up sending me. Now this is for an insect bite, bearing in mind. He sent me to gastroenterology. He sent me to various departments. I had tests for this, that, and the other for. I don't know, chlamydia, HIV, right? Now, hey, Dr. Shepherd, wake up, I've been bitten by an insect and I'm feeling very ill, right? And he run me all around the houses for months, basically, in respects of, and I'm feeling like I'm dying, right? And the guy just weren't listening, hey, I've been bitten by an insect. What the hell are you sending me for gynecologically departments in bloody Warrior Square in Conquest Hospital? Saw Dr. Whitehead. I don't know. It seems deplorable. Been bitten by an insect and they don't listen to you, whether they want to listen to you or whether they haven't got the knowledge. I just do not know. I'll give you some idea, in respect of, this is just some of the documents that I've got. And this gives you some idea of the communication by email and letter that I have had with the National Health, Conquest Hospital. I made an official complaint and consequently I got a report back. And I read Shepherd's report and he's more or less disclaiming that he was never told, in the beginning that I'd been bitten by an insect. Now, I'm going to give you a list of people that I told. Right, Dr. Shepherd, obviously. A nurse Wingfield was told. Fiona McNichol was told. Dr. Vidler, or Nurse Vidler was told. Right, I finally concluded, basically, in respects of, I made a point of going back to Warrior Square. Bearing in mind, I'm still very ill and I've still got a pressure in my right ear. Right, I saw the head of the practice, Dr. Searson, and I explained to him, I said, look, I've been bitten by an insect, right, nobody's listening, and I don't think they're doing the right blood tests, right? They're just FBCs and they're not looking for, any infectious viruses in my blood. And he sent me for another blood test. Now, in the meantime, I've had a copy, right, of a blood test, and I saw that it was made by Porton Down, Public Health England. So I phoned up Public Health England. This is all documented. I've even got a voice copy of the person I spoke to, and I asked them if they had previously had a sample of my blood, and she said no. Right now, what I actually physically did, I put a little professional header, right, on the note that I got from Dr. Searson stating that this sample has got to be sent to Public Health England. Right, so I went and had the blood test done at Conquest Hospital as previously done. I think I was up to something like about, I don't know, it must have been about 12 blood tests or something like that. Been tested for everything, other than the proper things, So, anyway, I got a report back, right? But this has gone on and on and on and on, basically in respects of trying to get a cure for whatever is ailing me. I collapsed, I think it was in October, I collapsed and ambulance had to arrive and took me to the Conquest Hospital. Right, I thought I was having a heart attack, and I was with my daughter at the time, and this doctor that was there, I was quite amazed in respects of the state of the National Health, bearing in mind not dealing with them all my life. This doctor actually needed a translator. He couldn't speak at all any English, right, and he couldn't even use the computer to log on, because the cubicle that I was sitting in, I was having an IV at this particular time. Right, so I tried to log on. The cubicle I was in, it was dead opposite, and I could see that it was fiddling around, and a nurse had to come and help him. Right, after I suppose about an hour, a nurse came in and spoke to my daughter. Right, this particular time I didn't know, in respects of what was in my blood, but she told my daughter that Public Health England had found typhus and spotted fever in my blood. Right, there was no sign of Lyme's disease. Right, this was more or less the first time that we had been told that I had anything in my blood. Right, but they said it was past and previous infection. Now, I've spoken to at least a half a dozen practices, right, over since May, June of last year, and it's now, 2016, right, so, and every doctor I've spoken to, off the record, has said it's impossible. You couldn't have had spotted fever, Q fever, right, and typhus in your blood without knowing it. Right, well, I knew damn well that, anyway, because nobody's been listening to me. So, eventually, Dr. Shepherd directed me to tropical diseases in London. I'll end this one here, right, and I'll do another one just on Dr. Whitty, right, tropical diseases, the main department in London.